Valley Club, start planning right now. The meta is always shifting in Marvel Strike Force. All characters will lose their value over time. Some are going to lose it very fast. Some will lose it at a much slower rate and continue to hold their value as the meta shifts in the game. So in this video, we are going to talk about the future-proof tunes that should keep the majority of their value over the next 3 to 6 months. And if you're ready to see what are the 10 best future-proof tunes in Marvel Strike Force right now, then you need to do Valley Club. Find that like button and let's go smash it. And welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I'm ValleyFlyin. I hope you're having an excellent day. In this video, we're going to talk about the future-proof tunes in Marvel Strike Force. These are the characters that should retain their value over the next 3 to 6 months or so, which means any investment you make in these characters should give you a pretty good return. But of course, if you do get some value from this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell so you know as soon as a brand new Marvel Strike Force video goes up. But let's get into the game and talk about the future-proof characters should give you value for the next 3 to 6 months in Marvel Strike Force, unless we get some big hard counter. We talked about Mr. Sinister as one of the future-proof tunes a few years ago, and right after that video was announced, Kestrel, the hard counter to Mr. Sinister, was also announced. So unless these characters get a hard counter, you should get a good value in all of these characters, all the resources you put in these characters. Now, we're not going to have any epic or legendary characters in this list, so no Odin, no Apocalypse, no Super Skrull, no Captain Britain. But we're going to start this list with Endgame Thanos, and the reason he is on this list, well, he's an Annihilator. He is in arena meta right now, and if you see what happens to these arena characters, they still should have a lot of value down the road. Secret Defenders, Black Cat, Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes, and Miss Marvel Hardlight. I still use that 3-piece combination, sometimes with Photon, sometimes with even Doctor Strange, even though he's on the Astral team right now. So just being an arena character, I think that these Annihilators are going to have a lot of value. Now, the reason that Endgame Thanos is such a problem starts with this passive here. The first time this character drops below 50% health, you're going to clear all negative effects on self, also the Annihilator allies. You're going to reduce the duration of all positive effects by 5 on all enemies. This is the big thing that he does. Any positive effect that has a duration of 0 expires instantly, including Safeguard. You're also going to do a big AoE attack, attacking all enemies 400% piercing, which is going to ignore the armor, 30% drain, so he's getting some health back, and this attack is gaining 1,000% extra focus, unavoidable, cannot be blocked. Very, very strong move. He has some other arena effects as well, but that's the main thing that you're bringing Endgame Thanos in for. His ultimate does a very similar move. It's attacking all enemies 270% piercing instead of the 400. You're going to reduce the duration of all positive effects on each enemy by 2 instead of 5. You're going to apply defense down for 2 turns, shield block for 2 turns. Any positive effect that has the duration of 0 expires instantly. So very, very strong character. Is very useful in arena right now, and it will be useful in the rest of Marvel Strike Force, Crucible, War, Battle World, any other game mode. Thanos will give you value, so any resources you put into him, you could bet that it is going to give you a good return. And pre-match taunters are always a problem. One of the best, if not the best in the game right now, is Gladiator. And he is Annihilator, which is useful in arena right now, but will also be useful outside of arena when a new meta arrives for arena. And he is a strong character, obviously, on this list. He's going to start with Taunt, Immunity, Safeguard, which is always a problem. Defense up for 2 turns, not just to himself, but all Annihilator allies. And if this character is below 50% health, heal self for 5% of this character's max health. If he has 2 or more Annihilator allies when his health is above 50% health, this character and allies cannot gain exposed and vulnerable. Now in arena, this is huge. When his character is above 50% health, enemies cannot fill or reduce speed bar for themselves, allies, and this does not apply to speed bar gained through normal means. Does not apply outside of arena. So if you're using him in arena, you're getting that benefit right now, but once the arena meta shifts, you're not going to get that positive effect, but you should still get all of this stuff here. Very, very tanky, does a lot to give himself health, has a lot of barrier, safeguard, and is an annoying tank that just has a high health pool and is very, very tough to kill. So even when the Annihilators are out of the arena meta, I still think you're going to get a lot of value from Gladiator, so you can invest confidently in this character. And we can't mention Endgame Thanos and Gladiator without also mentioning Gore. Very, very strong character. One of the things that he does, characters killed by him cannot be revived. And on a lot of his moves, you're going to clear charge, you're going to clear revive once. With the ultimate, you're also going to clear battlefield effects as well. So that makes him a hard counter to a lot of characters out there. We also have clearing charge and revive ones on the special, and on the basic you're also clearing all charge. You're not going to clear the revive ones, you are going to apply defense down for 2 turns with the basic, but clearing charge is huge. Clearing revive ones is also huge, and this makes him to counter to one of the better characters in the game right now that doesn't have the mythic or epic tag in Old Man Logan. So just by looking at his kit and the value that some previous arena teams have had, Gore should be a problem for a while, so this is another character that I think you could invest confidently in. And even though we just mentioned the counter to Old Man Logan in Gore the God Butcher, I still think Old Man Logan is the best non-mythic, non-epic character in the game right now. Such a strong character, and it starts with Claws Out. Now, you don't start with this one because it's on his ultimate as a long cooldown, but this Claws Out gives him a lot of different benefits on his special and his basic, and it is a big AoE attack, 550% piercing, 100% drain, flipping positive effects into negative effects, and you are attacking everybody with this move as well. The special very strong, and I kind of like this one a little better because this one applies a stun, has some huge damage. It is a chain attack. It also will apply a death proof, apply immunity, apply revive once to self, and Dokken as well. Strong move. The basic is a very good move as well, but you're doing a lot with this passive on turn, clearing all negative effects in his character. Heal for 20% of max health, 15% of max health per negative effect remove, kind of like what we have with Wolverine and X-23. On attack, fills speed bar by 20%, which is why you sometimes want to place Old Man Logan next to the taunter. When this character's health is above 50% health, stun cannot be applied to this character. Their speed bar cannot be reduced. Now, when an enemy has bleed, which a lot of his moves do, lower that character's damage by 30%. This will not stack with things like offense down. Lower that character's resistance by 50%. A heal block cannot be applied to mercs for money allies. Character and all mercs for money allies gain 30% speed. So a lot of stuff, a lot of callouts to the mercs for money, but just because Old Man Logan was an arena character, he's kind of used in the raids right now. I take him into the Orcus raids, play Cyclops in the Extreme X-Men team. Very strong in Crucible, very strong in War as well. The mercs for money are meant for a war team. And when Battle World comes back, this guy will dominate whatever you can take him into. So yes, invest in Old Man Logan. His event is going on right now as I'm recording this, but hopefully it's a permanent event and you can get more charge for Old Man Logan a lot easier as you're watching this video. The Night Stalkers right now, they're great on war defense. They're great for offense in Cosmic Crucible, countering most of the Orcus type teams. And when Battle World comes back, well, Blade will give you some value there as well. There's a very strong ultimate that you're opening with, attacking the primary target, 290% piercing, reduce the speed bar by 25%, and stealing 20% health from the target and redistribute to himself. Heal block, bypass heal block, and the attack the primary and adjacent targets for an additional 320% damage, piercing. Reduce speed by 25%, clear immunity, disrupted for 2 turns, and blind for 2 turns as well. Ignores defense up, unavoidable, cannot be blocked. Blade's passive and any successful attack, clear defense up, apply defense down to each target. So making his team stronger and making the enemies weaker. Any turn flip slow, offense down on 2 Night Stalker or random allies that have slower offense down. And on self or ally crit on the following turn, gain assist now. So does a lot. And yeah, if anybody on the Night Stalkers team is gonna have value after the raids, well, I think Blade is going to be the first character there. And if I had to go for a second Night Stalker, I would pick Agatha. I think she's one of the better future-proof tunes in the game right now. A lot of that comes from her ultimate. Big AoE attack, 150% piercing. Bonus attack 2 more times for 150% piercing. And I like that there's not a lot of just call-outs to the raids. There are a few Dark Cold Night Stalker call-outs as well, but huge damage. You're also getting a stun to the Hero Mystic Blaster enemy with the damage, with the highest damage, and then you apply stun to the Hero Mystic Controller enemy with the highest damage as well. And one of the cooler things when you have an ally Agatha, and one of the more annoying things when you have an enemy Agatha, when an enemy drops below 30% max health for the first time, do the following. Attack that character, 100% piercing, flip 3 positive effects into negative effects on that character, apply disrupt to the character, apply deflect to the maximum of 3 to all Darkhold and Night Stalker allies. And if you fought against the Night Stalkers or even the previous Darkhold, this part of her passive makes it very annoying. A Darkhold or Night Stalker ally drops below 30% health for the first time. You're gonna clear disruptor on character, flip 4 negative effects into positive effects on the character, apply defense up and stealth to that character, which means if you're facing an Agatha trying to get to a target, she places them in stealth. It's gonna be harder to get that target. Very, very annoying, and bury that character for 30% of this character's max health. She is a very strong character, has a strong kit, not just tied to the raids, not just tied to the Night Stalkers, which is why I think Agatha Harkness is a great investment for the future. The next raid character I want to discuss is Lady Deathstrike. Like the Night Stalkers, Orcus is a recent raid team with updated stats. Lady Deathstrike is one of the stronger damage dealers, applies a lot of bleeds. The reason she gets a nod over some of the other Orcus members is because a lot of her kit is not just tied to the raids, not just tied to Orcus or previously Weapon X. It actually has a lot of versatility, and it's better with the Orcus, but you could use her on other teams as well. And if we go and take a look at her passive here, on turn healing for 20% of this character's max health, she drops below 60% max health. She's gonna gain 2 deathproof, 2 evades, lower resistance by 50% with enemies with bleed. So it's a very strong ultimate, and I like that there's not a lot of raid callouts here. Huge piercing damage to the primary target, a rebound chain to 4 adjacent targets, also 280% piercing, so getting a lot of potential piercing damage on a bunch of enemies. You're gonna gain offense up before you do the special, then you're gonna attack the primary adjacent targets. 200% piercing, 2 bleeds, can reduce the speed bar, or will reduce the speed bar by 20%. So very, very strong character, very strong moves, and yeah, she'll do a lot of damage and apply a lot of bleeds. I think of the Orcus characters, because a lot of them do have callouts to the other Orcus members or the raids, I think Lady Deathstrike will be the most future-proof and the most versatile. And Kairi comes in on this list as a future-proof character. The Absolute A-Force is meant to be a war team, but as was demonstrated in Cosmic Crucible this morning, Kairi paired with some Annihilators, very, very strong, especially if she's doing a lot of basics, you're getting a lot of assists. Now, the reason she is such a strong character, even if you're not into war like I'm not really into war, what she's gonna do on spawn after all other characters on spawn effects, fill speed bar for herself for 200%, which means she's taking 2 turns right away. You're also gonna attack the controller enemy with the highest focus for 350% piercing, and applies expose. While this character's health is above 50%, she cannot gain slow. The ultimate, you're gonna attack the primary and adjacent targets, 500 huge piercing damage. Defense down for 2 turns, heal block 2 turns, disruption 2 turns, trauma for 2 turns. Super, super strong move. My goodness, this is what does this move not do? You also have a very strong ultimate where you also have a 250% piercing. You're gonna clear all barriers from all enemies before that. And you're gonna flip 5 positive effects into negative effects on all enemies. Offense down 2 turns, heal block 2 turns, bleed for 1 turn. If the enemy does not have any positive effects, apply trauma for 2 turns to that character. Very, very strong, and I think Absolute A-Force will have a lot of use in war for a while, but Kairi, even outside of war, outside of a full Absolute A-Force, I think Kairi still will have value, and that was kind of on demonstration these past 2 days at Cosmic Crucible. Now, anytime that you're going to manipulate the speed bar in Marvel Strike Force, because this is a turn-based game, you're going to have a huge advantage over your opponent, and Kang is one of those characters that you could use in mirror matches to manipulate the turn meter of your enemies, because on spawn on offense, you're going to fill speed bar by 5% for self and all allies, which means that if you do a mirror match, using Kang is going to get you in front of the enemies. Now, there are a lot of characters, there are a few other characters that come to mind, Emma Frost, Cable, maybe a few others that do manipulate speed bar. However, their kits aren't as strong as Kang. Kang has this huge ultimate, also known as a Kang Bang, where he's attacking all enemies, 300% piercing, clearing 3 positive effects, reducing speed bar by 10%. That is an AoE attack. So you're doing that to 10 enemies if the battlefield is full, 5 enemies if it's not, or some lower value if you've killed some enemies. Special is also a very good one. You're gonna attack the primary adjacent targets, attack them for 420% piercing, applying slow for 2 turns, which is very good. And sometimes you just want to kill someone in the beginning of a match. Well, Kang goes very, very fast, and he takes a few turns with his basic. You're gonna attack the primary target, 360% piercing. You're gonna attack the most injured enemy for 290% piercing, which if this is the first attack, there should be only 1 enemy that has gotten damage, so 2 attacks right away. And then with that striker skirmisher combo, you can get another hit, so potentially 3 hits off of this basic. Kang is a very strong character, and he's been in the game for a while, but I think he's still gonna have a lot of value in Marvel Strike Force. And for that final spot, I went back and forth on the last character for a while. And I think even though this character does have a lot more counters than he did and losing value as we speak, I think Black Knight still as a character that will have value 3 to 6 months from now. Now, the reason for his loss of value, well, Gore, we mentioned, counters him. Big Time Spider-Man counters him. Void Knight. There's a few other characters that are counters of Black Knight, but I think the reason he's back in the meta is because of one of the characters that we previously mentioned, Kairi. She does take a couple turns right off the bat. And if she is going unchecked, well, that could be a rough situation for you, especially if the allies of Gore are assisting her. Well, Black Knight kind of stops that. Kairi takes a turn, Black Knight counters. She takes another turn, Black Knight counters. She takes a potential third turn. Black Knight should be countering her, and yeah, this is the reason he's back in the meta. Kairi, I think, will be in the meta, and Black Knight, very good character, did kind of fall off of the meta, but now with Kairi, I think Black Knight is a solution, so I think this is a character that rounds out your squad. Two more characters that I do want to mention for honorable mentions. Cable. Cable was one of the original speed manipulators on Spawn, fill speed buff by self and all allies, kind of what happens with Kang, and is a way to get a mirror match. Now, Cable has traditionally been that character that just is gonna bring him in for that passive. However, getting a rework as part of this new upcoming Avengers and X-Men combo team with Hercules and Jean Grey, well, Cable's gonna get a lot stronger. He's gonna get those updated stats. So he's an honorable mention for now, but should be one of these future-proof characters that you should confidently be able to build. And the final honorable mention character that I want to mention is Storm. Now, she's also getting a rework like Cable. It's not live in the game yet, which is why she's not officially on this list, but I think she will be a very strong character once she gets a rework, because traditionally, she would gain charges on her basic, and then you would either use her special or her ultimate to use up those charges. You get some potential stuns with the special, you get some big damage with the ultimate. Well, now with the rework, looks like you're getting both. Obviously, we need to see what her kit is like when it's fully in the game yet, but lots of stuns, lots of damage. So those are my 10 future-proof characters with a few honorable mentions, but do you have a different list, some prediction of characters that will still retain their value over the next 3 to 6 months? Let me know down in the comments, and if you got some value from this video, leave it a like. And if you want to see what are the 10 best characters in Marvel Strike Force right now, check out the video up there, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin out!